Hey everybody, Pete here again, out at the lesson tee, on the back of the lesson tee at the beautiful Old South Golf Links. It's a wonderful day here in the Low Country. If you have not been here yet, I highly recommend you put it on your bucket list for your next visit to the Hilton Head area in the Low Country. It's a beautiful golf course. It's got a wonderful staff. They've got great food. You will have a phenomenal time if you make sure that you get out here and play this lovely golf course. So, today's video is chipping and how to vary trajectories. But if you've watched some of our videos, if you start having nuances to where your face is pointed or where you think it's pointing where it actually is pointed, it can wreak havoc on your game if you do not do it correctly. So in this video today, I want to make sure that you know what those nuances are. If you modify the face or the shaft angle or the ball position slightly, what you need to do to ensure that the ball is going to go in the direction you want, the trajectory you want, and has the correct spin that you want. So let me just start out with what I consider a basic chip shot where, and I'll do it this direction so the camera doesn't have to move. I have my feet, and we do this in a lot of our schools, where our feet are about 6 inches apart at the heels. You can flare your feet if you want to. You can keep your feet relatively square to your target line if that makes it easier, or you can have them slightly open. Up to you. Second part is your ball position will be under your button on your pants, the plackets on your shirt, your chin, whatever you want to use as a guide. The back of the ball is usually best to play there because that's as the club starts to brush the grass, okay? So it does give a slight descending blow onto the ball, which allows you to catch a little bit, or the ball to get just a little bit of spin, yet still have a nice trajectory that you want. Okay, so that would be considered stock, all right? You'll have a slight amount of wrist hinge going back where there is extension in the trail wrist and flexion in the lead wrist. That will all come down to the ball, and you will have the opposite going the other direction where you have extension of the lead wrist and flexion of the trail wrist, okay? Very, very simple stuff. If you are going to hit the ball lower, I would prefer that you kept the ball position in the same spot because it makes it easier to control the bottom out point and it makes it much easier to be consistent. So if I'm going to hit to this target over here, if I can get the camera to swing around this, actually no, stay right there. Here's what I want to show you. We talked about this in another one of our videos. Let me show you the direction. So if I have a standard chip shot, and let's use this yellow line as a target line, okay? If I'm standard, if I open the club face slightly, I would have to open my stance slightly to get the direction that that face is pointed down the target line, all right? If I'm going to hit a lower shot, what I want to do is raise the club head, or I'm sorry, raise the handle. That's going to force me to get a little bit closer. And then because you can see that the face is pointed to the right of the target line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that face down to where it's going to appear closed to me, but you can now see that that pointer is pointed straight down the target line. Okay, shaft up, a little closer to the ball, close the face down, or what appears to be, and then when you make your swing, you're not going to have a whole lot of wrist hinge, okay? It's going to be mostly an arm swing on the back and on the forward, and your hands are going to stay relatively low. You want to hit the ball low, you got to keep your hands low. So up closer, club face closed, less wrist hinge, and you can see how the ball comes out with a lower trajectory. Okay. Conversely, if you want to hit the ball up in the air, most people, there's my square, most people will open up the club face, which is perfectly fine. But if you open up the club face, look where the face is pointed. So how do you fix that and get that pointer pointed down the target line? You're going to lower the shaft, okay? So open up the club face, lower the shaft. You're going to move away from the ball, keeping the same ball position. Let me get that pointer off of there. And that effectively, even though it looks like my club is pointed that way, effectively I'm pointed straight at the target. Okay, so in this shot, you're going to have a little bit more wrist hinge going back and a little bit more wrist hinge going forward. In fact, the further the club head goes, the less distance the hands travel if you want the ball to go up. Those are a couple ways to do it. You can also add in, and this is where I'm going to need the camera to come over here. I'm going to swing around to the face-on view. shaft angle coming into the ball is also a very important thing. So if you want to hit the ball lower, in addition to what I just showed you, you got to come around a little further. I want you directly in front of me. Okay, so if we have our standard, which is about 6 inches apart, back of the ball, approximately the middle of my stance, what I want you to do is bring your trail foot in closer to to your lead foot. You can go half a foot width, you can go a full foot width. What that's going to do is naturally, as I do that, you see the shaft is pointed just to the left of the button of my pants or my zipper. As I bring my right foot closer, the stance narrows and my left side moves slightly towards the target, which means if this stays in the same place, it's going to have forward shaft lean and you're going to de-loft the club face, but the ball position in relationship to your overall swing has not changed, even though it's slightly back in as the club is descending into the ball. If it's back and you have more shaft lean, you have less loft, again, you're going to take less wrist hinge and the ball is going to come out, again, lower, but because you haven't moved it effectively, your timing and release patterns are still going to be the same. Conversely, if you want the ball to go up, you would go from your normal stance width to approximately 1 foot wider, and when you do that, you'll notice that the shaft comes closer to vertical, meaning you have less shaft angle, meaning more loft. Then you're going to make this. You can make your same stroke. You're going to have a little bit of wrist hinge both directions, and you're going to see that it goes up a little bit more again. So those are just a number of different ways that you can alter your trajectory. You can alter your spin. You can keep the ball position relatively the same. Keep the bottom out point very similar on all the shots, so you can keep that consistency that you're looking for, and your chipping game can go to a whole new level. If you found this video enjoyable, please click the like below or subscribe right over here.